Welcome to Stonewatch. This is my open spoiler discussion for WandaVision Episode 8, previously on. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and click on the bell so you can be notified for future videos. And yes, WandaVision Episode 8, previously on, has dropped. And oh my god, man, this show just gets better and better every single week. I mean, it's a damn shame that we only have one more week left for this show, and then that's it. I mean, it just gets better and better. I mean, I have to say that Jack Schaefer and Max Shackman just keep hitting this thing out of the park every single week. I mean, I look forward to watching this show every single week. I look forward to listen and be involved in all the discussions on what we think is going to happen, why, what happened all week long on all the various YouTube channels and chat rooms and on Facebook and what have you. I mean, it's just been awesome. I mean, you can't get better publicity than this. I mean, Disney and Marvel are just reveling in all this stuff that they're getting. I mean, everybody's talking about this show constantly. I mean, constantly. But it's a really good show. I mean, if it wasn't a good show, a lot of people really wouldn't be talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, Laura Donney comes in to write this episode, and she did a pretty damn good job. Now, she gets to have the longest episode we've gotten so far, 47 minutes. Even if you minus out the opening recap and part of the credits, I know what you're saying. You're saying, man, what the hell are you smoking? Well, that's a topic for a whole nother video, but that's not for today. Anyway, what I mean is last week they surprised us with a mid-credit scene that they have not been doing up until this point. I mean, I've been checking because that's like the MCU MO, like having the end credit scene, the mid-credit scene, and the credit scene to that credit scene type thing, you know, so they can tease you with other stuff that they're thinking about or what they want to do. I mean, so I was checking for that at the beginning of the series, and they weren't doing it. And I was like, why they got like 7 minutes of credits? But apparently that's like contractual. They have to have all that stuff according to like SAG rules or some like that. I'm not really sure how that goes. So up to last week, we didn't know about having a mid-credit scenes, and I made this comment about like, where's this character, where's it about this character, and hey, one of my subscribers said in the comments, hey dude, I think you might want to go back and watch the episode again because there was a mid-credit scene. I'm like, oh yeah, and then I seen the videos and the article saying, oh hey, I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I had to go check that out, and then when I did, it was a pretty cool thing. I mean, we got to see Monica sneaking outside around of Agnes's whatever house. When she opens up the door to the cellar, she is confronted by, which we now know is the fake Pietro saying Snooper's got a snoop. I mean, that was a pretty awesome scene. So I wonder what happens after that, because this week we didn't get to see them two again. That was pretty much about it. So they're going to probably save that to wrap it up in next week in episode 9. But what we did get to see this week, it was kind of like an origin story for Agatha Harkness. We see that she actually was from all the way back in 1693. That was pretty interesting. Now, I did some research into the character, but I didn't go totally into deep dive in it because I'm like, because I know that Marvel's going to change stuff up because they always do. I mean, it's basically like the stuff that's in the comics, but it's not exactly like it is in the comics. They twist it up a little bit to make it fresher, newer, or what have you, or I don't know. At least that's in my opinion. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. At least that's what I got of it. We get to see where Agnes comes from, and we find out that it was like a power that she learned like by studying the dark arts, where she could suck in the power from other people. Because when like the people in her coven try to like shoot like whatever the magic and stuff at her to kill her or punish her for what she was doing, she turned the tables on it and they start sucking their energy, and they like getting all sucked in and gross and looked like zombies and what have you. And that was pretty dark for like a Disney show, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that was pretty dark. And then I find out that the head person, that was her mom, and then she did the same thing to her mom, man. And that was something else. I mean, that was really something else. But then we got to see the backstory for Wanda and how she got to where she's at. Now we know for a fact she is the one responsible for the hex. Now I watched this episode like 3 times, and on the 3rd time, that's when I kind of noticed, name of the show, when I noticed that she had the deed to that house that she was standing in the middle of, because it was something that Vision did. Now, I don't know if there was like some show or movie part that references this deed. I mean, this was something. I haven't heard anybody talk about this thing, but that is the ground zero for all this stuff. That's where it all started, where everything is like part of the hex, the house, everything, even this Vision. So that would explain why he cannot leave the hex, because he's actually part of it. And we also find out, because last week they hinted at the Project Cataract was director Hayward and crew brought back Vision, and we didn't get to see that until this week's end credit scene where they power him back up using her magic that she used on the drone that they fired the missile on her. So by using that, they were able to bring back the all-white Vision. Now, I remember something about that guy back in the comics back in the day. I don't remember all of it. I'm not going to say that I do, but I kind of remember that character. So that would be really interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, does this guy have like any kind of personality? I mean, because he didn't say anything. He was just pretty much flexing his hand and everything. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But all in all, this episode was awesome. The flashback kind of like this is your life thing that they did for Wanda, like they showed her parents' house and everything all else, and then they kind of hinted at that she had powers before she actually came in contact with the Mind Stone. So that is pretty interesting. Now, is that hinted at that she's a witch, or is that she's a mutant? There's a lot of people speculating out there that they're going to bring the mutants in this way. I kind of hope that they give them a little bit better, more of a setup than this, to be quite honest with you, because there's so much history tied in with the X-Men. I don't want it just to be because she decided like this, she didn't want her loved one to be gone, and that's how they all started. I think they would kind of cheapen their story. At least that's my opinion. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. So I don't know, man. I thought this episode was awesome. It showed us so much, answered so many questions, but yet at the same time, it's got us begging for more answers. You know what I'm saying? So we got one more week to go. And also, there's going to be like a behind the scenes thing, I think, the week after, which would be week 10 of WandaVision. It's like basically like the same thing that they did for The Mandalorian season 1 and 2. It's like they're going to show you how they did stuff and all that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. So let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. So I don't know. All in all, I love this series. I can't wait to see how they stick the landing on this thing. It's getting crazier and crazier every time I watch this thing. So let me know what you think in the comments down below.